So first of all, welcome everybody. I know it's early for some of you, and it's after lunch for the rest of you. So good to have you here as part of this of the Intel EdgeX coding competition. We are getting closer to the late stages of this project, and I know there's a lot of questions coming on from you. I'm Hugo Espinosa. I'm part of the Kreativdistrikt team, and you can pretty much find me all over the platform. So if I'm the person you need to contact in case you have a non-technical questions, for example, something regarding the platform or where to upload things or the organization or something regarding the terms and conditions and so on. I'm happy to help you, and I'm also on your team chat, so you can always text me there and just ping me at Hugo Espinosa, and I will be right there with you. In terms of the platform, I assume that all of you that are online right now have your team. But in case you do not have your team made, just click on Post Idea. It's a green button next to the event chat, and right there will be some questions for you. You do not need to finalize them. You just need to start with them and have some brief idea what you're doing, or for example, like a concept of the idea that you have and the name of the team, and then later you will be able to edit it. Once you create that team, you will be able to have your own team chat. Other than that, remember that in your home and ideas and your university zone, will be able to find more information about the starter kit and so on. That being said, I think you should have all of the information right there. But let's just go ahead with you, Daniel.
Thanks, Hugo. So I'll do just a quick introduction, and Sean and Lenny, you can do quick introductions to yourselves as well as we kick off. So I'm Dan Brooks. I work for Intel's Networking and Edge group, which primarily is looking at Internet of Things. I'm part of our healthcare, education and consumer industries group. I have a focus on retail solutions in EMEA. So my main day job, if you like, is supporting our point of sale customers, our digital signage customers, our kiosk customers, and helping move the market along with new technology, looking at AI, looking at computer vision, how we can support the Intel ecosystem and optimize solutions for that. I've been involved in EdgeX as a platform for a couple of years, and this came out of how do we engage with the next generation of developers. And so Sean and myself and Melvin put together this coding competition, which is going around the world, UK, US and China, to really reach out and do something a little bit different. So, which is where we are today. Sean, over to you.
Okay, can anyone hear me well?
Yep.
Dan, can you hear me? Okay. Sean Williams. I'm also under the Network and Edge group, part of the market optimization and scale team. And that's kind of the charter is to take some of the technology that we have at Intel and how we can expand that into other geos. I've been in Intel for 12 years now. 10 of those 12 years, I was a developer or software technical lead or software manager. Within those years, I developed probably about 4 years of development in EdgeX. And now I'm over on the business side working on strategy and scale. So Dan, Melvin, and myself came together for this coding competition to offer an opportunity for students to showcase how creative they can be, and looking at a new protocol called Matter and how that can help us and in turn help them, and how we can start talking and communicating with smart home devices through the EdgeX framework. Lenny.
Hi, I'm Lenny Goodell. I'm a senior software engineer at Intel. Been here 20 plus years. Been working with EdgeX for many years. I'm on the technical steering committee. I run the applications services work group, and I'm also the product manager for EdgeX. very knowledgeable about all parts of EdgeX, and I'm here to answer those kind of questions.
Thanks, Lenny. Appreciate it. So, as I said, the structure for today is I'm going to go through a bit of the abstract and the description and the process of the competition. Sean's going to go through some of the judging criteria, and then we'll get into Q&A. So I'd like to keep it quite light and sort of looking forward to your questions. Oh, hang on. It would help if my screen worked. Come on. See, even technical people can have issues. So why are we here today? So we're here today because we're seeing within the market a lot more requirement for simplification of connection between devices. The more and more technology that we're getting into our home and into our businesses, like I mentioned with retail, the more and more value out of connecting these devices together is becoming more apparent. What we've seen in the past is that there's lots of different protocols, different APIs that have been developed, and some have been developed with a very specific use case. Some have been developed by a specific company to try and drive adoption of their specific technology. But what we've seen, not only in the home, but in general Internet of Things usage, is that the whole Internet of Things is too big for one company to drive. And so because they're a best of breed across different devices, you need to really simplify how those devices are connected together. And that's why we've been looking at EdgeX as an open source project, was because Intel believes that open source is a way to really drive home this type of activity, to really get people engaged, developing and growing. So we've been using EdgeX primarily in industrial, transportation, retail type use cases. And what we saw was that there wasn't really anything around smart home devices. And so we thought that's another area that we can then help the EdgeX open source project grow and deliver relevance to its community. So we decided to do things a little bit differently. We've done hackathons in the past with the EdgeX developer ecosystem, and we thought, how can we engage with others that maybe haven't used EdgeX in the past? And so we decided to look at the student developer ecosystem. And because I'm based in the UK, Sean's based in the US, and Melvin's based in China, we decided to pick universities from those regions and promote it there. So that's why we're here today. As part of this abstract, one of the things that kept coming up in our investigation was a new protocol called Matter, which was getting adopted readily by the home markets such as Amazon, Apple, Samsung, LG. So a lot of the big players were getting involved, and so we wanted to see how we could get a competition based around EdgeX and Matter to get things moving forward with some of these devices. So the problem is, how do we get and connect and command and control smart home devices using EdgeX? So we were looking to develop EdgeX microservices via Matter, and so create a device service that is protocol based and implement the Matter specification. So that's what the challenge was, and so that's what we asked you guys to come up with and start to define and play with. So eligibility, we were looking for full-time students from university, making sure that there was no conflict with employment or legal restrictions. Team membership, we were looking at a minimum of a team of 2, maximum of 4, and you can only work in one team. The contest period started 28th of March and looking to finish at 11 p.m. On the 7th of August. And then the demos and judging will get scheduled between the 7th and the 15th, and then we'll do a final presentation of the results and the winners on the 17th of August. And then what will happen then is we'll get each team to do a presentation, approximately 15 minutes of their entry, their idea, their concept, and that will be to the judging panel. And then the judging period, we'll go through all of those results. We'll have Q&A sessions. We will then, the judging panel will be a mixture of Intel participants. So as an example, Lenny is going to be on from a technical point of view. We have a couple of external judges, and then from other organizations, and then we'll come together, decide the winner, and go from there for the conclusion of the presentations.
So real quick on that one, Dan, 15 minutes is a semi-hard time frame, but if you're finding that you really cannot squeeze your demo in 15 minutes, let us know. Again, this is our first to go around of the competition. We really want to hold that tight to 15 minutes. But if a plethora of you guys are coming back to us saying that 15 minutes, you need 20 to 25, we'll be open to extending that. But right now, we do want to make that a kind of a semi-hard requirement.
Cool, thanks, Sean. And with that, Sean, I'm handing over to you to go through the guidelines and the evaluation criteria. Sean, are you still there?
Sorry, trying to operate Google Meets. Yes, I'm still here. I have a slide deck I was working on. Let me try to take over. I think there's a question.
Do you want me to stop sharing and you share your slides?
Yeah, I think there's a question in there while that's going.
Okay. I've stopped sharing, Sean, so you should be able to share. Yes, okay. Ashton, we'll get you a copy of these slides at the end of the presentation. So, yeah, all materials will be available for you guys. And I think Hugo will post it in the hackathon zone as well.
Okay, I should be sharing. So this is the scoring criteria. So 30 points for creativity. Is the solution innovative? For example, does it go above and beyond the basic functionality? A surprise solution ingredient, something like that, if that's incorporated. 30 points for impact, viability, and usefulness. What does that mean? It says, does the solution have a real commercial and or applicable value? For example, a smart home consumer. I think those two are already self-explanatory. After I do the other three, I'll pause for questions on the criteria. The next criteria is simplicity for 30 points. Is the solution intuitive, easily to integrate into a smart home? Has usability been taken into consideration? A nice user or developer experience. 5 for presentation, effective, clear, convincing. You're actually clearly articulating what your solution is, why you think it's best, and how it's using the Matter protocol. And then the wow factor, coolness, 5 points. Don't have another word on how to do that, but just something that you feel that separates you from everyone else. If you are adding on another sensor, or you're doing something else GUI, some cool colors, you got a light show effect, I don't know, whatever. Just something that goes above and beyond and has that extra wow to it. I'll pause there for any questions. Okay. So we did make a change midway through, and we hoped and we understood that that change was a little bit for the better. And this is the high level architecture of the change. And so gone is the days of trying to create your own Go Matter device controller that talks to EdgeX. There was not the SDK that we believe to have been out there for creating such a Matter controller. But in its place, we anticipate something that could have been a little bit easier for consumption anyway, and that's to create a Matter controller. So a device service, a device connector is gone, and now it's a Matter device controller, and there are several examples out there that are written in Go, and these controllers are controlled by a REST device service or an MQTT device service. And there are several examples out there that will show that as well. So this was the architecture change that we did. We hope we had some questions on this, but we hope that many people found this advantageous to their education, especially with the C++ involved in it, and also the comprehensive examples that were out there. So I'll pause here for questions, and I'll pause here for Lenny, our godfather of EdgeX, if he wants to add any color to that.
Yeah, I just want to stress that the device and MQT device services are existing from EdgeX that you just need to configure on how to communicate with your Matter controller.
I think they kind of lost you on the beginning. I think you were saying the REST device service and the MQTT device service already exists, and it's just based on configuring that to communicate and control your new, which is in green, EdgeX Matter controller. Is that what you were saying?
Correct.
Any questions on that? Sorry, Lenny, go ahead.
I was just saying, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we heard you. It's just for me, the very first word or two, which I guess your mic was kind of warming up, is what I lost you.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of took the first question, and Lenny, I'm going to kick it over to you in a minute, but and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Lenny, but I think the answer to the first question was primarily the answer to most, if not all, of the questions that came in the email, and so kind of broke it down into what that question was, and then how Lenny answered it by saying, "Here's this information," and then Lenny, I know you haven't seen these slides, but you'll see where the next slide where you walk through. Here's what you do for REST, and then the slide after that is here what you do for MQTT. So Lenny, I think you've seen these questions, or this here, it was in the email. I just kind of put it up on the slides. You want to take it over from here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the next slide, I think you have the resources. I provided pointers to different examples, and the rest of the REST device service has a README that walks through how you communicate with a two-way REST device. And that's what we're considering this Matter controller, from EdgeX perspective, a device. And so you can control you can send messages, what we call commands, via the REST device service to your controller to tell it to either get a status like power of a light or set the status of the power of the light. So those are the two simple things that the communication between the device, REST device service, and your Matter controller. So in your Matter controller, you simply implement some REST endpoints that will take in these command URLs for a particular, what we call a resource. So power being on a light bulb being a resource, the device being an instance of a light bulb, and then the resource you want to get or set on that light bulb. So power is an example.
Hey, Lenny, real quick. I have the links here. Is there anyone that you want me to go, click on and walk through, like the README or the example or any of these links there?
Yeah, the example there of a profile. So device profiles model a device class. So you model the resources on a light bulb. So
which one is this one, the second or the third one?
The second one there.
Okay.
Right there, yeah.
Sure that.
So the reference device services, the MQTT and REST from EdgeX have just sample profiles because we don't know what you want to talk to. So this is just a contrived example of how you would talk to something. Okay, so the name, I'm skipping the first one because that was just getting a JSON value. Device info would be a resource on your device, and then and here it's saying it's a string. So go down to line 13. Yeah. So this is saying device info. It returns it. If you do a get on it, it returns a string giving some information about it. So you could change this to be power, and the type is still a string because you want it to be on or off. Your Matter controller would return on or off for that. So this is dynamic. You define it however you want. The resource name is used in the URLs. So whatever name you use here will be sent to the Matter controller, and you will then, like if it's power for a light bulb, you say, oh, power. I know how to get power from the light bulb and return its status. So, and the rest of them are just simple, examples still. They don't add much value to this example beyond what I've given here.
Okay. Do we go into the next one?
Go to the README.
Okay.
On device REST, so they can see what the URL will look like. The URLs are dynamic in that it contains the name of the device that you're trying to communicate with and the resource that you're trying to either set or get. Okay, so the async part I don't see you using, but you could if you have a device that has a timer on it and wants to send data up each time. Your Matter controller would just post to this endpoint, and you can see the dynamic portions of the URL. You use the device name and the resource that you're posting. So if you wanted your Matter controller to send up the power status of each light bulb on a timer, it could do this. Okay, and the device name is the name of the device that you've registered in the device service. So we'll get to that. You saw what resources are. Okay, and commands look very similar, but notice that the URL is device/name rather than device/resource above. and then it takes a device name and a resource name. So very similar. So the difference here is when EdgeX says, I want to send a command to this device, it goes through this device service. This device service sends a GET or POST to this URL, depending if it's a set or a GET command. We'll just go with GET. And it sends it to this URL with the device name that was requested and the resource. So say device name's lightbulb 1 and resource is power. And we get the power for lightbulb 1 and return that information. Okay, go ahead and scroll down a little bit more here. So this is just describing the device list. This is good. So you can, probably the easiest thing is for you to configure the REST device service with a static list of devices. So when your controller comes up, it's going to, you're going to know that it's going to control 3 light bulbs, right? So here's where you would configure those 3 light bulbs. You'd have, where it says name, you would have light bulb 1, and then specify the profile that new profile you created for light bulbs. And then the labels are optional. And here we don't use protocols, so it can just stay like that. And then the second one, name light bulb 2, and the same profile. And that will define the devices that can be controlled by your Matter controller. Ideally, we would do it more dynamically, where when your controller identifies a new light bulb has been added, it sends a new device command request to the core metadata service. So I haven't explained that here, and I can get some more information out on that one. That would be more advanced, more useful in that it would be dynamically getting the information instead of statically defining, I can only talk to these 3 light bulbs. Any questions so far? Okay. And then we talked about the device profile. And in the REST device service, we are focusing on that sample 2-way REST. Those other ones were the original profiles before this service supported a 2-way communication. So those other ones are really for just simply async. So the device is just sending data every 10 seconds. All right. And then there's there's instructions on testing async there, and then testing 2-way. Okay, so this kind of gives you the idea of how you can get to know the REST device service before you try and connect it up to a Matter controller.
All right, should we go to MQTT?
Yep.
All right, let me stop sharing. So again, kind of the same thing we'll kind of go through here. But Lenny, do you want to do any synopsis here before we click on any of these links?
Yeah, I just want to stress that it's very similar in nature to what we're trying to accomplish. It's actually the same, just over a different protocol. So REST, is over HTTP protocol. MQTT is over MQTT protocol. All right. The difference here is you have to have an MQTT broker running to broker the messages back and forth. and connecting, and you got to have topics and those things. So it's a little different animal, but trying to accomplish the same thing. So let's go to the first example, which should be the device profile. So, and it's your choice to use REST or MQTT. It depends on your experience with one or the other, which you prefer. You need to zoom in on that. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm sharing the window. There we go.
Still very small. Can you just zoom your browser? Yeah, keep going. A little bit more. One more.
Actually, let's do this.
Yeah, there we go. That helps. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's a device profile similar to the one we saw. So that first resource float, RAM float 32. This is just saying, here that's the name of the resource that the device supports. And then in the value type, and it's a read write. And in this case, we define, hey, if we don't have a value for it, it's a default value 0. If the device is there, this is not going to be used. And then it also, for validation purposes, we said it's a minimum value of 0 through 100. Again, it's something you probably wouldn't be using in this example, in this coding competition. So really no different than with REST, because it's a device profile defining a resource that the device supports. So the example here again would be power. It would be a value type of string, or you don't have to have string. You could do it as an int and return 0 or 1. So it could be an int 32. That's all up to you. Then let's go look at the device, because there's a uniqueness in the device definition for MQTT.
Which one is that?
If you just click right there under devices folder on the left, and that one, yeah. So again, static devices definition here. You would create your own device file and drop it in so that it's picked up by the device service. You can also do this via the EdgeX UI. You can create the device. The big difference here is under protocols. We actually have protocol here, and the only piece of the protocol is what the MQTT topic is going to be for this device to command it. So this is the base topic, right? So the resource that we're requesting will be, and the method and that information will be added to this by the device service. But this is the base topic that will be sent to your Matter controller. Okay, so for this device. So each device definition should look the same, except for what Sean has highlighted there. That's the device name. And so light bulb 1. So if you statically define 3 light bulbs in here, the name would be light bulb 1, and then the profile would be your light bulb profile, and then whatever description and labels you want, and then on the command would be command/light bulb 1. Right?
So Lenny, so question just for me. So you said, so this is the way the topic is. So the topic would, and if I was developing this, I would have the topic based on what that particular device was, or would the topic be for each like command?
So this is the command. This is either going to be, if I do a set command, or a get command, it's going to be command / lightbulb1 / we'll get into the rest of the topic, but it's going to append the resource name and either a get set on the end.
Okay.
And what you have to do in your controller is once you've connected to the MQT broker, you have to subscribe to command / £. £sign in MQTT is the end wildcard. It says I want every topic that starts with command /, and then your service will receive those messages. You examine the actual topic and determine which device it needs to read from, what resource it's doing, and what action it's doing. We will have more information on the additional levels on the topic coming up.
Okay, what's your next?
Go to the config YAML file. So that's you're subscribing to that topic to get the commands. Then you have to publish back a response. Okay, scroll down to fairly close to the bottom, right in there. Okay, so right here, we have this response topic. So the device service is subscribing to command response # to get all the responses. So you publish to this response topic with additional information in the topic for device and resource that you're responding with. And there's actually, when we do this command, we generate a GUID that goes with it. And so you use that GUID that you were passed in the command request to send your response back so that it matches with the request. Since MQTT is not like REST. REST, you make a request and you get a response immediately. MQTT, you post a request and that's it. And then the service just waits on this subscribed topic to get a response. So and that could be any response it receives. So you have to have an ID to match up the request, and that's done internally. But your Matter controller using MQTT will have to extract that ID that was passed on the command publish from the device service. And once it's got the status of the light bulb and wants to publish that back, it needs to include that request ID. So the device service can match it up to the request it made. Okay. I want to get to showing go back to my answer sheet, because there should be a link there showing the full format of these topics. Because these are just, in here, we're just showing the base for them.
So you said there should be a link?
Yeah, go back to that. Go back to that example. Yeah, so this is a nice example that we have in our documentation of doing an MQTT. Kind of like the REST README had a way to simulate it. Walk through this example if you want to do MQTT. So scroll down, let me see. I'm looking in the menu. So this, we've talked about device list and device profile. We've already talked about that. Keep going down. Yeah, keep going. I'm looking for the format where we talk about the format of the commands. Okay, hold on. Okay, this shows the format of the payload that's being published on the bus. So your resource name, the value, right? Just JSON. Simple JSON. Okay. Keep on going down. Okay, and this shows you how to create a simulator. And keep going. Okay, hold it. Back up. I just saw what I wanted to see, and maybe I need to send this out. I thought this was documented in here. So it's still doing the, so right there at the bottom where it says send topic, that's what it's doing. It's sending, okay, so the device service is subscribed to command/response #. Your Matter controller publishes to command/response/ the UUID that it was passed in the request. So this little simulator is what your Matter controller needs to do from a perspective of publishing and subscribing. So scroll up a little bit. Yeah, so right there, subscribing to command my custom device. So what you would just do it to commands # because you're going to support more than one device. And then what this does, you can see we're parsing the topic that came in, right? Okay, so the first thing is we split the topic on slashes. So the topic that comes in will not have any wildcards. It's the actual topic, right? Okay, and so we get, the first thing is the command, and the command is either the actual resource name or a device command. A device command simply aggregates multiple resources. So I didn't get to that in the device profile. And then the method. The method you can see is either a set or a get. Okay. So, and then else, it's just assuming it's a get. And then the command is the name of what we're getting or setting, in this case. And so that's a simple getting a message as a string or getting a block of JSON. That's setting it. So we're setting it in a store, an in-memory store called data there, just an array. And then the get command is just, we're supporting the ping resource, the message resource, the random num, the JSON. So this is a nice, simple example of that. All right. But what we're missing here for you, I think, is the picture of what an actual topic will look like. Scroll up just a little bit. I thought it was in here. Right there. Yeah, so this is similar. So this top piece is doing an async. So just like the REST device service supports a URL that you can just send data from your controller, not, it's just saying, I want, like my example is you want to tell the EdgeX the status of the light bulb every 10 seconds. And your controller is going to control that and say, send it. Well, you can do that same thing with device MQTT, and you send it to this topic where we have the publish. So it's publishing to incoming data, the device name, and in this case, we're sending values. So we're sending multiple values is defined in the profile as a device command, and it's multiple resources. So it's the random, it's the ping, and the message. So it's handling. So if you wanted to send, you had a more complex device than a light bulb. So a HVAC controller, and you wanted to know what the current temperature is and what it's set to. You could do that in one call. All right. Click on execute commands over there on the right-hand menu. Right. You're on the left. There you go. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is just showing how you can, with REST, you can use the core command service. So there's a service called core command
Wait, Lenny, you said really with REST, you meant with MQTT?
No, this is REST at this point. So this is higher up. Okay. So this is the point that you've got EdgeX running, you've got your controller up, you've got device MQTT talking to it. You can send a REST command to core command service, not the device service, and just give it the device name and the resource you want. And it will look up what device service controls that particular device and route your call, your REST request to that device service, which then routes it over that protocol to your device. So in this case, it would route it either over the REST protocol or over MQTT. So this is a good way to test your communication.
So you're saying if I hit this curl that says device all, it's going to come back with all devices that are registered?
Yep.
And then let's say I registered mine was light bulb device profile. It'll come back here, right?
It'll show that.
Light bulb device profile.
Yeah. So the all is just a query of all the devices that are out there, and it tells you which ones are there. And then scroll on down to execute set command. So this is where you actually send the command. Okay.
Yep.
For that particular device.
So something in here would be the command could be turn light on.
Mm-hmm. So in the case here, you would if it was a set, you would have the resource would be power, and the value you want it to be, on or off. So instead of message, it would be power. Instead of hello, it would be on or off.
And then, for instance, then the other resource would be temperature, and the message could be 68.
Yep. And that would be, it's JSON, so that would just be a number. You wouldn't put it in a string.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So get familiar with this example. You can walk through this example with MQTT. You can do the same thing with the REST device service from the README. It has that simulation and walks you through setting up a mock two-way REST device so that the device service can communicate with it. All right. Any questions at this point? All right. So I think we need to go on to the matter controller questions, the example part, I think, Sean. I think that would be the next piece, right?
Okay, so let's see. Well, the questions were kind of, I think I understand what you're saying. So let me stop sharing. Maybe, Dan, you have the comprehensive questions up. Do you want to come put that back up on the screen?
Yep, sure, no problem.
If not, let me try this real quick. No, go ahead, Dan.
Okay. So these were the detailed questions.
Okay, so I'm going to focus on the matter side of the house now. So we originally had hoped there was a Go SDK out there for Matter, and we would just have you create a Go device service. But no, there's not. There's just a C++ SDK. We do have a C device service SDK, but it's C. It would be another level of complexity to write a wrapper around the C++ and C so that the C device service could communicate it with. and we looked at how we would write a Go wrapper, but again, Go is not one-to-one. It's not object-oriented. So you need a wrapper to control the object-oriented part of the C++ objects so that you can control. So that's why we pivoted to, okay, just create a controller in C++. And what's nice is there's a bunch of examples out there. And did you have the links that I had posted?
Yeah, the links were all in the second pit. I put all the answers
okay.
down in the links.
I'm scanning there. Looking for the one that goes out to the Matter SDK. I don't see that. Yeah, those are all EdgeX Foundry links.
Let me just check the email that you sent. I probably didn't copy it over properly.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're about out of time. I want to leave at least 5 more minutes for questions here. We'll get that link. But if you Google Matter C++ SDK, we will make sure you'll see there's a samples section, and you can build those examples and play around with just that side of it, controlling a Matter device.
Hey, Dan, go ahead and try to stop sharing real quick. I think I can pull it up.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Sean.
Sorry, go ahead, Lenny.
Yeah, so there's an example out there to control different devices via Matter, and you should just build those up and get those working with whatever device that you are working with. And then, once you're comfortable that you can control that device with that sample, convert that sample into what we're calling the Matter controller that manages your device or devices and has this interface, either REST or MQTT, to EdgeX.
Lenny, I think I'm sharing what you're referring to.
Yeah, examples folder there.
Say again, examples?
Yeah, examples. Yeah, so here's a bunch of examples. Lighting.app or light switch app. Those, see, they're right there for you to jumpstart your Matter controller from. Now, this team doesn't have any expertise in this. So this is where I think the real competition becomes is your ability to take these examples, get them working, and create something innovative and that communicates with EdgeX.
Yeah. So the kind of the chain of thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lenny, is okay. Hey, you know what? Let me figure out how to get this light switch app working just through this example. Then let me understand how I can actually control this light switch through a REST call.
Yep.
Or control this light switch through an MQTT call. Then let me tie those two things to EdgeX, what Lenny just walked you through with the REST device controller or the MQTT device controller. So if you got the light switch app up and running, hey, how can I use Postman to send a REST call to tell the light switch app to turn off? Okay, got it. Now, how can I tie that REST call to first registering this command in EdgeX, then understanding how that Postman REST call, again, Lenny, stop me if I'm overshooting my skis here, how that Postman REST call can then be adapted or tied into how the REST device service issues REST calls or something like that.
Yeah, you're definitely, like if you're doing REST or MQTT, you'd want to start with the scheme for the endpoints for REST or the scheme for the topics that those device services want. Otherwise, you would just be rewriting your endpoints or your topics. But yeah, I like the idea, Sean. Just get the controller side working where you can communicate with it via REST or MQTT, and then configure the REST or MQTT device service to talk to your devices via that. So I see 3 large steps. One, just get the sample up and running and see how it works. Second, add your choice of protocol to communicate with it. And then third, connect up the device service, configure the device service to connect up to it.
Yep, I agree. Hope this was helpful. I won't wrap it up. I'll let Dan wrap it up, but I will say, if you guys are shy and asking questions right now on the call, please, and I'll have Hugo or Dan raise a hand, funnel some of those questions to Hugo based on this. I think this is being recorded. If you need to go back and rewatch it and get those questions to us as soon as possible. But I'll toss it over to Dan or Hugo.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. And yeah, all the slides will be made available, and we'll make sure all the links are available that Lenny's gone through here, like all these example codes, pieces. So everything's there. We've got people ready and waiting to help you guys. So please reach out, and we're looking forward to seeing what you come up with. And yeah, let us know your feedback. We've not got too long left now. Is that going to be an issue? Let us know. We're open. We're happy to talk through things with you guys. So yeah, just let us know. We're here to help. So thanks very much for attending today. And Hugo, I don't know if you want to say any words just to finish off.
No, that will be all. I think, Sean, like he said, if you guys have any more questions or need anything, please feel free to contact us directly. We are all in your team chats, or you can go directly on the general page if you have if you think that the question can help everybody else. But yeah, that will be all from my end. Yeah, I think we have some questions already, but I don't know if you have time for answering live questions as well.
I have to drop. I have another meeting.
I understand.
So please post those in the tool and we'll try and answer them.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much for your time. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, guys, and good luck.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.